Good Sunday morning, everybody, and welcome to WGN TV Political Report. I'm Paul Lisnick. We begin this morning at City Hall, when tensions are mounting as Mayor Brandon Johnson looks to solidify some key items of his campaign agenda and deal with the surge of migrants arriving in Chicago on a daily basis. Mayor Johnson said this week he's planning a trip to the southern border to see the situation for himself. When that will happen still isn't exactly clear, but as the mayor works to get tented base camps stood up to elevate the burden and alleviate the burden on other shelters, he and Governor Pritzker are pressing federal officials for more assistance.
It's a tremendous sacrifice for the people of Chicago, and I certainly recognize how hard it has been for the people of Chicago. But what I do know for sure, without action, the type of chaos that the Republican Party is causing, it's going to be greater. And so we need shared responsibility from every single level of government.
Also at City Hall this week, a battle over getting rid of Chicago's sub-minimum wage for tip workers. The progressive-backed plan has moved quickly through council chambers, though passage was delayed by 2 days due to a posting error at the clerk's office.
Of over 150 restaurants, 90 of them in Chinatown alone. It is the lifeblood of our community and brings a lot of tax revenue to the city as well. And my constituents there feel that this is going to hurt more than it's going to help our local economy.
The fact is that workers do better when we raise their wages. Workers do better when we improve their working conditions. Workers do better when elected officials are on their side.
Well, the measure was approved to cheers inside City Hall on Friday over the objection of 10 alderpeople. More council action expected this week. Mayor Johnson will give his budget address on Wednesday. Alderman Anthony Beal's 9th Ward covers part of the city's south side, including the Roseland and Pullman neighborhoods. And he joins me this morning to talk more about the busy week at City Hall and across his ward. Alderman, good to see you again. Thanks for joining me.
Always a pleasure. How you doing today?
I am good. So earlier this week, you took the floor during a city council meeting to send several of Mayor Johnson's new initiatives to the Rules Committee. That equals delay. You're known for standing up to mayors before, to Lightfoot, to Emanuel. Just sort of curious, what is your relationship with this mayor? Where do things stand?
Well, there's been very little communication. We're trying to build the rapport, build the relationship with the new mayor. And, we're going to continue to do that. So he's the new mayor. We're still trying to, build upon that relationship.
So as I mentioned, there was a city council meeting on Friday to deal with the one fair wage ordinance. You were not in attendance at that meeting. The ordinance did pass over the objection of 10 other alders. So now restaurants and bars, they've got 5 years to raise the base wage for their tipped workers up to the city's minimum. So can you fill us in a little bit about how that went down, what happens before it goes into effect?
Well, what's happening, Paul, is, a lot of the mayor's initiatives and the people that help catapult him into office, they're trying to ram their agenda through. And they're not doing a thorough process of vetting the effects of what this is going to do to the city of Chicago. What are going to be the ramifications on businesses here in the city of Chicago? The Restaurant Association and BOMA, they've sounded the alarm. They're saying that, look, this is going to hurt business. Most tip wage workers make between $22 and $28 an hour anyway with their tips. Now, what this is going to do, this is going to force businesses to increase their services and their goods, all their, food and beverage. They're going to increase that because this is going to be passed on to the owner of these restaurants. And they have to, in turn, pass that on to the people who are coming into their shop. So at the end of the day, they're going to go up on their prices. They're going to start implementing that surcharge on the receipts, and tips are actually going to go down. And so it's unfortunate that they're ramming this through without doing thorough research, thorough background on all these things and how they're going to affect the people of Chicago. And they're just ramming these things through.
Well, and 5 years of a phase-in process, so we'll see. Maybe changes get made over that time. I do want to turn to the migrant crisis, which is going on. You've been very vocal about that as well. You've been very frustrated that migrants are being put and housed at a police station in your ward, which also serves as a sex registry location. Just out of curiosity, did your complaints change anything?
No, they didn't. My thing is, I put a call into the administration because over last weekend, they brought in 2 busloads of migrants, and they didn't call me. They didn't call, alert the community. They didn't let anybody know that they were coming, and they just dumped them. And there were 2 or 3 busloads of women and children. And they dumped them at the 5th District Police Station, which is a sex registry location. And so they're not supposed to be any women or children housed at any place where there's a sex registry. So, I mean, in essence, we're breaking the law that we also created. And so, I was extremely upset. My residents are upset because you have to communicate with anything that we're doing. We know we're dealing with a crisis, but this crisis is being dealt with in a vacuum. We're not including everybody. Decisions are being made, shooting from the hip. And these are some bad decisions that are being made. And Paul, I'm going to just say this. I'm glad the president finally decided to close the border and, they're going to start doing some deportation. But at the same time, I said what we needed to do is start turning some of these buses around. We don't have to take these buses. There's nothing in these sanctuary city or welcoming ordinance that says that we have to provide services and goods to migrants. There's nothing in it. All it says is that we don't have to communicate with ISIS as far as deportation and cooperating with the federal government when it came down to, people who are committing crimes and holding them and cooperating with them. That's all it says. There's nothing in it that says that we are liable and we're obligated to provide services and goods. So what we're doing, in essence, people are coming to Chicago because we're giving them everything they want, everything that they need. But at the same time, we're finding $31 million a month when my residents can't get services and goods that they've been paying their fair taxes their entire life, and they can't get a roof, a porch, a hot water heater.
Alderman, along those lines, you and some of your colleagues have sort of said maybe we need to re-question and revisit the issue of whether Chicago should be a sanctuary city. Now, Mayor Johnson was elected with his progressive platform. Where do you think and how do you think that would play out?
Well, they sent my ordinance to the Rules Committee where that's where it was going anyway. And so hopefully we can get a hearing and we can try to put this thing on the ballot, because the people of Chicago have never been asked, do we want to be a sanctuary city? No. I think we need to ask the people of Chicago that question. And, you're right. He ran on that platform. Let's let the people decide. Let's hear from the people of the city of Chicago to say if they want to continue to spend $31 million a month, but it's actually growing with the amount of numbers that are coming. They're coming 1,000 a day or 1,200 a day migrants that are coming to Chicago now. So that number is going to over double. And we're going to be paying about $93 million a month. And that's going to really, in essence, it's going to be about 1.3 billion a year if we keep going down this road. Well,
and as you know, Southside residents have refiled a lawsuit to stop migrants from being placed in police stations and in schools. You're against the mayor's base camp idea. So let me just ask you, where do you think at this point migrants should be housed?
Well, there's a couple of things that we can do because we are dealing with a crisis, and we all need to, bear the grunt of this, not just certain communities. Because right now, only certain communities are really being forced to take these migrants into their community because they're putting them in Park District, they're putting them in police stations where the aldermen have no jurisdiction whatsoever. So we don't have any input on where they're going. But at the same time, we do have empty schools. We have empty hospitals. Empty churches. There's any numerous places where they can be housed until we can find a permanent solution. But let me just say, the tent city is a horrible idea because we all know what happens in Chicago. When that hawk comes a-calling, we're going to have some problems in a tent city.
The mayor's budget address is Wednesday. Are you expecting we're going to hear about new taxes, new fees? What are you looking for? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I wish I had the crystal ball that can answer that question for you, Paul. I don't know what they're going to do. I can only speculate. We do have a lot of vacancies in the city of Chicago. We have over 2,300 police vacancies right now because we're not hiring police. And so hopefully, we can start hiring and getting more police on the street because we're dealing with carjackings and robberies and murders, and numbers are up across the board. And so we need to have more police out on the street. So I'm really hoping that they don't try to eliminate police positions.
Real quickly, the Bring Chicago Home ordinance will be voted on by voters sometime in the new year. That's raising property taxes for people who sell homes for more than $1 million, lowering them for less. You support that?
I do not. Let me just say this. That's going to affect everyone who's trying to buy or sell a home here in the city of Chicago. We already have 40% vacancy rate downtown. The buildings downtown right now are underwater because, businesses just didn't go back downtown. They found other avenues where, they can find other ways to run their business. And what's going to happen? and this was in Cranes just this week. They're going to, because downtown doesn't have the base, their tax base is being diluted. So what's going to happen is that tax is going to be distributed back to the residents of the city of Chicago and not the businesses, because they're going to go in and they're going to get their taxes reduced because the vacancy rate that they have. And so I think this is going to have a larger burden on every resident of the city of Chicago. And, you know, one thing for sure, everybody always says it's not going to hurt, but this is going to hurt the entire city of Chicago.
Alderman Anthony Beal, thank you for your time this Sunday morning. Appreciate you sharing your views. You're certainly
No problem.
candid in
Thanks
doing
as
so.
always.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. We're going to take our first break. Up next on WGN TV Political Report, we're going to Washington.
The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Yeah, with work in Congress at a standstill, the battle for who will be the next Speaker of the House getting heated. What to look for during the week ahead. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere.